All right. What is up, everybody? Don't worry. Herman Moore will be joining us. We're waiting for him to make his grand entrance. But we're here. We're excited. We're celebrating. We got our three guys here with me. We got Chicken Nugget. Chicken Nugget.
Yeah,
Say what's up?
Chicken Nugget King is in the
Chicken
building.
Nugget
What's
King.
up, guys?
And then we got Everything King.
The old guys here, everybody. Hello.
And then we got my man Kurt Steele.
What up, dude? What's going
And
on?
we are all excited and frolicking in this stream.
Yeah, frolicking through the neighborhood. You know,
This
King, I
is
frolicked in my living room with you. I just want you to know that I frolicked.
right.
Yeah.
A lot of people frolicked last night. A lot of people.
What? How do you define frolicked?
You either run or skip in enjoyment out in open space. It's just a good feeling.
I kind of went in a circle. Is that okay?
That works.
Okay. I want to know. So we got people here in the chat. I want everybody to tell us how you celebrated yesterday. Did you frolic? Did you jump? Did you scream? What'd you do?
yeah.
What'd you do, Kurt?
I jumped a little bit, shook the house a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was trying to keep it low key because my son was in the next room asleep, but you kind of can't hold that. You know what I'm saying? That kind of excitement and joy you just can't hold.
Yeah, I had to warn my wife and kids to shut all the doors upstairs because I was getting ready to start yelling.
For real.
Yeah.
My son was actually in the room with me watching his iPad because my kids don't like sports.
Yeah.
And it was like he was watching the game. I was like, it's like we were watching it with me. I almost felt like I had a companion. But yeah, it was awesome. I was not expecting that kind. I mean, 4 touchdowns from Jahmyr Gibbs is insane. That was just absolutely insane. And I love how it was like pushing him forward. It was like team touchdowns, which to me, I'm just gonna lead with this while we wait for Mr. Herman. To me, it was like the epitome of the team itself because it's like there's no selfishness. There's no I need to get in the end zone. It was just like whoever gets in the end zone gets in, and it was like everybody is pushing him to get over the line. It was just incredible.
Yeah, everybody on the team is generally happy with each other, man. Whenever somebody make a play, the entire team is celebrating. To see Hutch on the sideline was big time too. Shouting, yelling, coaching, doing everything he could out there. That was dope.
Yeah, definitely. You see that? I look at this team and the camaraderie. It's like it's an actual family type of environment. Like you don't see that in a lot of teams where they go to bat for each other. Other teams are trying to emulate that around the league right now, but I just don't see that. You know what I'm saying? This is and they kind of overdo it. Like all the water and stuff for Sam Darnold for beating the Packers. Like what is that? It's overkill. You know what I'm saying? You have to be a little bit more focused. You celebrate it and you keep it moving. But all that water and nah.
Herman, what's up? I love the swag.
Oh, you know what? You're going to either go hard or go home. Come on.
Now I can't hear you. What happened? You went mute. What happened?
Hold on.
Oh. I'm not going to lie, guys. I was excited for my shirt.
Yeah.
Because I had to pre-make my back-to-back championship shirt, and I was cheering for my shirt. And I was very excited when my shirt was official.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's good, Herm?
Not much. What's good?
We're talking about team.
Oh, come on. Everything we do got team in it.
Yeah.
That's what I always tell people, man. It's like when we talk about the companies, you talk about being an entrepreneur now, they always go, what's the first thing you want to do? I always start with team because it is amazing, absolutely amazing. And what's up, everybody that's coming in on our channel? Appreciate everybody that's on here with us. We got the LNU group here, we got the fam here. But man, listen, I don't know how you sum all this up, what's happening, because it hasn't happened before. So it's new, but at the same time, you're wanting everybody who's kind of been a part of this, whether it's the former players, whether it's the fans that have come and gone, and you even want them to come back. You want everybody coming back to say, you know what, this is what we've all been waiting for. And I'm gonna tell you, man, as an alum, this feels amazing. This feels amazing to be a part of what's happening, because when you go out, there's a sense of pride, man. It's like you don't have to keep explaining and saying, it just didn't happen because of this. No, it's happening in spite of right now. It's happening because the team is consistent in its attitude, man. Let's tap this away. I don't even know what you guys got on, because I was on the same time that the referees were on. I saw my clock say 7 o'clock, but I knew that really meant like 7:08, 7:10, and I knew I was still on time. So there you go. You heard me complaining about it yesterday, but I'm just saying this, man. I appreciate everybody. Look at this environment, man. Look at the all of us that's on here. Everybody's rocking something Lions. Everybody's rocking something. I'm going around the store, man. I'm going everywhere, and it's there.
Yeah.
Come on, man. If you can't get involved with this now and feel good about what's happening now, you need to go pick another team. Like, for real.
Actually,
so what up, though?
Fun watching a game in a while. I was having fun. Like I said, I was cheering for my shirt too, but I was having fun on Twitter. I was watching King frolic, and what I was really impressed with myself was when I predicted the drive that sealed it. I was like, this is a really good time for us to put together a long drive and go up by 8, and it happened. So I just want y'all to know that was me.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. For me, I mean, I'm in my early 50s, and for me, like, being a fan of the team for so long and like just kind of yearning for something like this. We've been waiting for it. We got a tease with it with Herm and his group, in that early 90s, and we were hungry for it, and for it not to come back around until now. But we've been here. I had a guy try to tell me, all bunch of bandwagon fans. I'm like, dude, don't come in here with that mess, man. I was like, dude, I've been a fan before you was born. Like, don't come in here with that trash. We've been here. You know what I'm saying? We OGs in the game. And every team's gonna have bandwagon fans when you start doing good. But but the ones that are day one people, don't disrespect us because of the fact that we've been here. We've been riding with this team forever. The lowest of the lows and now the highest of the highs. 0-16 to now 15-2. First number 1 seed in the NFC ever. You know what I'm saying? Back-to-back division champions. We won it the first time last year, and now won it again. Watching Jared Goff say, "Give me my effing hat." Like, I'm loving this whole vibe of it. The team is a vibe right now. Like, Detroit Lions are a vibe, and people see me. I've been living in North Carolina. People see me walking around with my Lions gear on because I wear Lions every day. My wife tells me she's sick of it all the time. But people come up and approach me like, man, I'm rooting for you guys, man. I hope you guys win, man. I hope you guys take it all, because of the fact that they know that we've been a long-suffering fan base forever. But now we're gonna rejoice. We're gonna rock with our team. And for all the haters, y'all can kick rocks.
All right, so before we continue, Herman, meet Chicken Nugget King.
Chicken Nugget King.
Hey, how you doing, Herman?
Hey, good. I'm gonna say that real fast, man. We got to put out a Pepsi challenge for that one. What's good? I love it.
Hey, it feels good to hear from a legend. I mean, you've been in the game for so long, man. It's not even crazy, man. It's surreal to be in your presence, and it's surreal to be a part of this team. Thank you, man. And we definitely have to take up on that challenge, man, for sure.
Okay, that's what's up, man. I you know what, man? This has been a great community. The people that are on here now, we get them coming in every week. They come back every week. They're blessing us with following our channel. They're blessing us by hanging out with our content contributors. And when we first started this platform and we wanted to build it for the fans, we were truly meaning that. We wanted them to come in and give ideas. We want you to come up with things that we can put out into the marketplace that make us really represent the culture of that. I've been around the player environment. I've been around the field side of it, and I love it. I love being in on the field, but this is a place I gravitate to because this is what really makes it go. It's the vibe of the place. Thinking about the way the stadium sounded the other day, when you start looking at people starting to wear their gear and putting their stuff on their cars, riding up and down the street, it brings everything full circle. It doesn't matter how well you do. If you don't have the fans and you don't have the base coming in that's supporting it, it's a whole different thing. So What's up? Let's say, here's Johnny, Bob, K ain't pressed, Steve, Nicole, Keitho. Let's see who else we got in here, man. Daquan, Sue. What was that? Sip Trot? Darcy, Rudy.
Shout out to I've been rocking with Sue since I started podcasting back in 2018. That's my people right there. You know what I'm saying? We go way back like wave caps. Sue she a diehard. She a real diehard Lions fan.
Yep. I remember, man, when I first early got on Twitter, man, she used to be on there. So, and kind of help me out there with getting people to come in. Don't think I forgot that. So that's, again, man, just saying what's up to everybody that's on here. Corey, Joseph, Frog. And, it's important for me, man, to take just a minute. So y'all have to bear with us, man, because Mom Market 301, we always like to represent people, man, and say what's up to them coming in, because you're taking time out of your day to come out and hang out with us. So we appreciate that.
Can I say shout out to one more guy?
Go ahead. That's
David
us, man.
Moore and I served we were in Afghanistan together. He was a civilian and I was on the military side. So that's where I met him. I met him face to face in Afghanistan. So shout out to my man Dave, man. What's up, my guy?
Okay. Y'all in here bringing the war up in here. Okay, that's what we got.
I send a shout out to all my mom, my dad, my aunt D. She wanted me to shout her out on the show. She's like, shout me out on the show. I'm like, yeah, I got you. Yeah, shout out to my aunt D and to all Lions fans.
No, that's okay. You don't have to.
Man.
Shout out to my kids in the house that don't care that I'm on.
Yeah. Yeah. And then to King and Kurt, man, you guys, you already know how I feel about y'all, man. It's y'all and the other guys that came in day one, stayed in there and been hanging it out with us. We appreciate that. Ain't nothing but love for that, man. That's really good.
Shout out to you guys, man. For picking us up early and getting this thing started. It's been a hell of an experience. Man. The Lions fans are in full force right now. I couldn't imagine, being able to sit here and witness what I'm witnessing right now. I thought this would never come as a Lions fan. Been a Lions fan since I was 5 years old, man. And, even for the fans that's coming from the outside, I get so many messages and comments saying that, hey, I'm a Vikings fan, I'm a Packers fan. It's hard for me to not like this team right now. I don't like the way it feels, but I just love these guys. I love Dan Campbell. We got so many people coming from across the world commenting and leaving messages too. So it's been amazing. It's been amazing to be a Lions fan.
Yeah, today on my LinkedIn, it was actually my 5-year anniversary that I've been with Team 84, which is Herman's company. And it had me going backwards, looking through my phone and all my pictures. And we launched Lions Nation in, I think, the end of 2020. And so I'm posting these pictures and I'm looking at all this stuff. And it was crazy just to see how actually long it's been since we've been Lions Nation, but also just the memories and stuff like that. I mean, I was with the Lions when Dan Campbell was a tight end. So it's really cool to have this be where we're at right now. I've not, last year it was kind of like, we're winning and you're kind of on edge. Like, are we going to keep winning? This feels like they're just supposed to be winning, which is insane to me. So I would love to hear everybody's core takeaways from yesterday before we kind of move forward to the playoffs. Like, what were your biggest takeaways?
The defense, man, the camaraderie, everybody, literally everybody on social media and the media, they trashed our defense for weeks now. And they just knew that the Vikings was going to come in here and just run all over us. So to see Aaron Glenn to come in and come up with a unorthodox game plan the way that he did, and be able to take his 7th day of rest on the bench like he always does. That was it for me last night, because it's always the naysayers. It's the naysayers with Dan Campbell. To me, if you ask me, he won Coach of the Year last night. If you ask me, everyone wants to say meathead this and everything. He's a very smart, intelligent coach. And that showed. He made all the right calls to me yesterday. And if he doesn't stick to who he is yesterday, maybe we don't score a couple of those touchdowns yesterday. So I just loved everything about it, man. The Detroit Lions are who they are. They built this thing organically. Shout out to Brad Holmes. Don't get enough credit, but everything is organic about this team, and I love it.
Yeah, definitely. The line that got me was Dan Campbell saying, "You guys remember who the F you were." Like, I love that with him saying that. And shout out to my man St. Brown, because it was BTA all that whole second half. Them boys took him out to the woodshed. I was not expecting a game like that. I was expecting a shootout. I went to that game last night. I'm like, it's gonna be like 48-42 or something like that, or 38-31. It was good. I thought it was gonna be a high scoring game, but shout out to Aaron Glenn, man. He was just like, you know what? And Amik Robertson, oh my, he what? To see that performance against a guy like Justin Jefferson, and I had to give it to Ryan Clark on Twitter last night, because he said that the Vikings were going to come in the fourth field and put up 50 on us. Yeah, they didn't even get in the end zone. Like, bruh, like, and the narrative still is, well, the Vikings just missed plays, they missed throws. No, we caused them to miss throws. It ain't this by happenstance that Sam Darnold missed throws. It was all the pressure in his face, and it was that defense that caused him to miss throws. So, yeah. But for all those naysayers out there, last night was a Lank moment, like Terry Honor say. Let all naysayers know, and the Lions put the league on notice that we're who we are, and Anzalone being back and that defense playing the way it did, it's gonna be hard to come in the forward field. I see the Lions down in New Orleans, man, going through Bourbon Street. I just see it. It's gonna happen this year.
Yeah, to go and speak on the defense. I personally, what I loved about yesterday, I'm not somebody that's going to break down football. I'm not going to sit there and talk to you about scheme, but I love the chess match of football. And so I love how coordinators can impact a game with insane game plans, and just to see the way that was executed yesterday, to me, that's really fun to watch. And so I really enjoyed that yesterday, and just getting to watch that execution, because I thought it was amazing. Which one of you guys? I'll just put Herman in the middle. Just go ahead.
I'm gonna go last. You know me. I always like to go last.
Let's get our guy over here.
Yeah, well, to me, I think that when you listen to what everybody was saying on media side or whatever, thinking that the Vikings were going to score all on us, that's just some clickbait. That's just some like naysayer talk where they like to, say the Lions won't do this, they won't do that. This defense can't handle the Vikings offense. We showed them that, hey, we can handle them in more ways than one. We played great. We had great chess matches out there. And, Meek did his job. I don't even want to call him Meek no more. I want to call him Mr. Pound for Pound. He did a great job out there, handling his work, going against Justin Jefferson, and, going one-on-one in that matchup made everything easier. Our defense did great by stopping this team in like 4 drives to the red zone, to believe so. 4 drives, and we did great by executing and not letting them score. All they did was take threes, which is like field goal. And, so that was a great job and a great work for our defense. AG was just like cooking up great plays out there defensively. And, the offense, they were going to do their thing. And Jahmyr Gibbs, 20 touchdowns in a season? Hey, it must be magic.
Hey,
there's me.
Can I ask him? Can I
go ahead.
What kind of sauce you like on those nuggets, brother? What kind of sauce we get in them nuggets, bro?
I got asked that question a million times. Barbecue sauce, basically.
That's what my
sweet and sour, man. You gotta go sweet and sour sauce.
Sweet and sour.
I'm a hot mustard guy. That's my thing.
I just got to think of it. Or you could go honey mustard. Either way,
What you got, Herman?
Nah, man, I have to do barbecue, man. I can't do anything outside of that, or I just got to go plain. I don't. That doesn't seem like anything but barbecue sauce supposed to go on the chicken nuggets, man. But I know people do different things.
It's okay. But I know honey mustard though. I can work with honey mustard for sure.
Yeah, I can't do that, man. I just really just got recently into what is it, the lemon pepper on my wings or something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been
I
hitting
get
that
to
up a little
pick the
bit. All right,
comments,
here
so
we
I'll
go.
just put the sweet and sour up there on the board,
All
and
right.
I'll just not talk.
Oh, you stretch a little bit there. Oh,
We've
y'all
been
know.
waiting for this.
All right, so let's dial it in a little bit.
Uh-oh.
Because let me preface it like this. Everybody calm down.
Why don't you? I know you don't have the shirt yet, but why don't you what's on your shirt there, huh?
Oh, hold on. You already know. Come on. You already know.
Heck yeah. I might get a discount code just for people in this stream.
All right, we got the king. So when I looked at it, I agree with Kurt. I agree with most of the people who thought this was going to be a shootout. I had it, Lions winning by a field goal. Thought it was going to be a tight game, and that it would still go both teams in the mid-20s, right, somewhere around there. The thing that was surprising is this. So let's do it in, because I always like to go into, because sometimes you can look at the analytics, you can look at the statistics, and then ultimately that tells you something about the game. But you got 62 plays by the Lions. I think it was 62 by the Lions. No, 62 by the Vikings, 66 plays by the Lions. There was a discrepancy or disparity. The difference between the two was 10 first downs by the Lions. But then when you start looking at all the other categories, I mean, both had 11 drives. Lions averaged 6 yards a play. They averaged 4.2. All right, cool. They really shut down the Vikings passing game, 142 yards. So again, it's nothing to argue there. Offensively, the Vikings just couldn't get it done. The defense had way too much pressure. Sam Darnold was in the pocket. They did a great job collapsing it. They made a great job so he couldn't escape. They know he's not a runner. He's a pocket passer. So therefore, having that containment, they didn't have to worry about anything getting wide. They just had to keep those rush ends, collapsing it and containing, and then making sure everything gets funneled into the middle. They were bringing delayed blitz. That was another thing that threw them off, because they would pause the linebacker, because the linebacker no longer had to worry about the quarterback as a threat. So that linebacker was really free to either come or stay back. And they would dial that up, and it really threw them off on their timing. There were missed throws, right? No doubts. And Darnold, because of the pressure, he didn't stand in the pocket long enough to wait for those plays to develop. So the players did get open ultimately. The problem was he was missing them. I mean, he missed a couple of really critical throws that would have kept chains moving, that would have sustained drives, that would even led them to having points. As we already know, a field goal and a touchdown here is a whole different ball game, because the Lions got to play it differently. So there were some things that happened, whereas the Lions were the consistent. They were the more disciplined team. They were the team that you look at the Vikings, 0 for 4 in the red zone, 0 for 4. They had an opportunity to at least come away with 14, 17 points. Defense did a huge stop. And then for them to try and play Campbell ball and bypass points and try and go for it on fourth down, that is the risk that you take. And they thought their defense would be able to stop them and do all. So all I'm saying is this was for me, the defense stepped up and did something that they hadn't done in the previous few games in terms of just really bringing pressure and being able to really play the man coverage. That's one. Offensively, offense was offense. Offense just keeps going. Man, that's a engine they just can't stop. When they get going, they get going. Jahmyr Gibbs, man, I can't say enough about this young man at 22 years old, and just his speed. When you see him go inside, because everybody was talking about how he was more outside, Montgomery's more inside. He gets a crease in there. He's on linebacker so fast, man. If the safeties take the wrong angle, it's a wrap. And then you got, Jared Goff playing well. There's just too many factors. These coaches, man, they're getting Campbelled. I'm telling you, they're thinking fourth down means they should go for it on fourth. Bypassing points mean they should bypass points. There's ego getting in the way. And what they're not realizing is that he has his whole team behind him. I see the frustration on their receivers' face when they weren't getting the passes, when their quarterbacks were missing throws. You don't see that with the Lions. You just don't see it. He's got it dialed in to where that X factor of meaning having that locker room together, having this team going out. I don't care who's playing, but whoever's playing is playing their best. They're playing their best. They're playing their hardest. It doesn't matter if they got beat. Doesn't mean if they had a penalty. Doesn't mean they made a mistake. It's a racing and it's getting back to it. And nobody sits there and goes, man, what are you doing? And that's what I'm telling you. They're going to be a tough team. And I just don't think that, and the last thing I'll wrap up on this is this. With the Meek, great job on Jefferson. There was times that he was beat. Again, I think Darnold, he just got happy feet. He got nervous. He started not looking down the field. That pass rush got to him. Defense was covering. These guys were sticking to these wide receivers. The linebackers were sticking. They completely abandoned the running game. Minnesota, I'm like, you're inside the red zone. They were not running the football at all. And when they did, it was on the most predictable times. So I think the fan factor, the intimidation factor, the Lions are just really closing the door on this NFL, and they're closing the door on the league in terms of trying to expose weaknesses right now. And that window is getting real small for teams to expose them. So this is kudos to them. And I just wanted to be long with to say there was opportunities, man. I'm not going to sit there and just say the Lions just beat them up, man. The Vikings also, I mean, let's be real. 0-4 in the red zone. Come on, man. I mean,
they weren't great on third down either.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, so question. So first of all, I want to give a shout out to my LinkedIn channel. I got LinkedIn here. My LinkedIn is on the stream. Just want to throw that out there. But question, what do you guys think about playing the Vikings again? Do you guys want the Vikings again, or are you nervous to play the Vikings the third time? Because I know there's the whole you can't beat a team 3 times. So what do you guys think?
To quote the great philosopher Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, it doesn't matter who we play. I want all the smoke from all the teams. It don't matter. It don't matter who we play. I don't care if we play the Vikings. I don't care if we play the Rams. I don't care who we play. Bring whoever you want to play, because they got to come to see us in Ford Field, and we're gonna lock them gates, and we're gonna give them 60 minutes of hell the whole time.
What you got, King? What do you think?
To me, it don't matter. Don't matter who we play. Even with the Vikings, I kind of feel like we got their number. We know what to do against them. I feel like the league might have found out what to do against them because it started occurring a little bit in the Packers game. If you guys watched that game, and how to shut down Jefferson. I mean, the Commanders, the Rams. So who's afraid of the Rams right now? They got holes everywhere. So. Yeah, it really don't matter to me. Bring it, anybody.
Doesn't matter.
I don't think it matters. But I believe that there are some teams that still present matchup issues. I think Tampa Bay is still a tough team for the Lions face, even though they're I think they're the 3 seed or something like that, 3 or 4 seed. But so it's still not easy. What I like is the fact that there's a lot of these teams that are going to knock each other out that I think could be potential problems. And then the ones that survive, the only ones I'm looking at are Philly. A lot of people may or may not agree with that, but I think when you have teams that have the weapons that match up well against us offensively and defensively, they got a good offensive line. They have quarterbacks, they have receivers, they have running backs, they have a running game. Those are problematic if you dial them up right and you have discipline. The teams that are going to play disciplined football that have the matchup capabilities are the ones I think present the problem. So when I look at the teams they're going to face, Tampa is a team that I think could be problematic. The Commanders, only because they haven't really faced them. And I think they have a mobile quarterback. They have receivers that can make plays. Defense is capable of making plays. I'm not so much afraid of not even afraid isn't a word, but Green Bay, I think we got that one sealed up pretty much. I think Green Bay is just is a opportunistic team that is a mess in certain regards. They got into the playoffs. Minnesota could be problematic if they make some adjustments and realize how close it was, because you look at it, man, the game was 7-6, and that's with Minnesota leaving points on the board. And it wasn't like any team ran away. It got away from them when they got down in the red zone. They really couldn't convert, and a lot of that was because they chose not to convert that into points. They wanted to go for it and take risks. So I think there's strategy that can make them a little bit of a problem. But those are the only two teams, man, that I'm seeing them problematic. For the most part, would be the Eagles, Bucks, Commanders.
I can get with the Bucks. Just obviously you got Evans over there. You got Baker Mayfield, who also is a mobile quarterback, tough quarterback. The Eagles, to me, I just don't trust them. I don't trust them. They got Saquon over there, but I don't trust the Eagles. I've been watching the Eagles all season. I do not trust the Eagles. Me, also, another thing that I put into the factor is strength of schedule. Who have you played? Who have you beat? It's part of the reason why I wasn't afraid of the Vikings. The Lions hold themselves back a lot, and that's one thing that a lot of people don't really mention. The Lions came out yesterday and held themselves back a lot, trying to be too cute, throwing the ball behind the line of scrimmage, just doing ball-headed things, throwing blindly down the field. You can't do all of that stuff if you're Jared Goff. I hold Jared Goff accountable a lot, probably more than the most. But when you're in that situation and you're playing the Vikings, attack the middle of the field. It's just that simple. Gibbs out of the backfield. That needs to be implemented in the beginning of the game, not in the second half. So the Lions do a lot of things that get in their own way when I'm watching them. And it's been like that for like the last 4 games. These little slow starts here and there has been making games a lot more difficult than they need to be. So maybe I'm overconfident, but to me, the only team that can really stop the Lions is the Lions.
Let me ask you this then, King. Do you think there are any teams that they face that have self-destructed and to get in their own way? Like the same thing you're saying, is that something you can also say about some certain other teams that they've faced?
Baker Mayfield gets overly aggressive sometimes. That's been a problem with them for a long time. Also with the Eagles, I mean, if anybody has a iffy quarterback, it's the Eagles, if you ask me. I'm not a believer in the Eagles whatsoever. And then the defense over there, yeah, they have a nice defensive line. They got some nice linebackers back there. But what I've seen them going against other teams out there, has been a lot of opportunistic plays that's been made over there. I don't think when it comes to our offense compared to what they have to offer, I just don't think it's a match. I think we would run all over the Eagles. That's just me personally. Like I said, the only team that I really wouldn't want to go up against probably is Tampa Bay, simply because of what they showed us before. But you don't know which Tampa Bay you're going to get. Those teams they're just not consistent to me. They're not. And Tampa Bay's record shows that for a reason.
Yeah, all right, we got to hear from Chicken Nugget. It's quiet over there.
And I have to tell you too, man. You remind me of my younger cousin, man, that I have. I'm telling you, man. I'm gonna have to, next time we're on, I'm gonna have to bring up a picture of her, man. His name is Jody. And man, come on, barbecue. Man. I'm like, that's my cousin right there, man. Go ahead.
Hey, honestly,
go ahead, 10-piece.
Hey, honestly, I think anybody could get the smoke. Anybody and everybody could get the smoke whenever they want it. But other than that, we're just, going to play our game and keep playing our game. And we're going to be the only ones to, stop ourselves. Because if we stop ourselves, then that means no Super Bowl. So we got to keep on going, keep on pushing, stay consistent, and just do what we got to do. And honestly, there is, playoff teams like the Rams, the Vikings, Bucks, and even the Packers or even the Eagles. It's so many other teams in our conference that are good that we got to watch out for. We got to keep an eye out. More in more ways than one, I definitely want to say that we'll definitely have to, keep an eye on the Rams. If the Rams want to come to town, they could come to town. We have no problem beating them.
What about the impact that Anzalone made yesterday?
The leadership, like I said, the consistency, everything. He impacts the game in every way that you want him to. And like I said, even though Hutch wasn't playing, he still impacts the game. Just to have him in your ear, and also on the sideline, that helps a lot. Those guys, it's like I said, though, it's up to the Lions to go out there and execute. And we when we don't do that, we make things a lot harder than we need to, especially with the injuries that we're dealing with. So if we can come out with a game plan and jump on people early in games like we should be doing, it makes it very hard for those teams to keep up with us as far as scoring touchdowns. Because when you got Jahmyr Gibbs, and I mean, just look at the offense in general. It's just like, what are we doing here? Why are we coming out with these slow starts? This should not be happening.
Yeah, but Anzalone, he brings a fire to that defense that's unmatched. Like you saw the whole attitude of the defense change when he entered the game. You know, even his introduction was crazy. Like the crowd went bananas. But to see his impact on the field, the Lions played a lot more aggressive when he got in the lineup. And that back part of that front seven played a lot better yesterday. They were more aggressive. I like the fact that you can stick him on a tight end. You don't have to worry about it. He's our best coverage linebacker, man-to-man coverage, hands down. And he brings that element where you can do a lot with the other linebacker, like Herman was saying earlier, and they were pointing out earlier on NFL Live, where if they call it green something like with the linebacker, the green backer or something like that, where the linebacker, if the linebacker would come up, linebacker would take the running back out of the backfield. If the running back didn't run a route and he's in protection, that's an extra rusher. And Anzalone provides that because you don't have to double a tight end with him or give him help in coverage because he has a one-on-one on lock. So just with that and just the pressure he brings up front, I love what he brings to this defense. I wasn't a big Anzalone believer when he first got to the Lions because of the fact that he was kind of switching positions. But now he's kind of going back out to the outside with Jack being inside. But I like what he brings, the toughness he brings, the mentality. And for him to come back, and if he was supposed to be on a pitch count, he played 64 of 65 snaps on defense. That's a key thing. A guy coming back and he was out that long, he doesn't have his football legs, but he was out there doing his thing. And I love what he brought to the defense, man. Between him and Amik Robinson, they were their best players on the defense yesterday.
I was sitting back looking at this, and I don't know how you really feel. I mean, some people will just say it because they're fans, and they'll talk about how good a team is and how great they feel a team is and so on and so forth. But when you can just really step away from it, and I'm stepping away, and I go, man, this is the best team in the NFL. This is if you start to put back the pieces that they've lost, and you say even though those players are not there, this team is still achieving at this level. Bringing those players back, then the defense looks different. The defense starts to look a little bit more, comparable to the offensive side. And then you seeing Corey Raymond back, and again, he's electric, man. When he catches punch and he takes off, it's like, man, you really like, man, if he gets the crease, he looks fast, he looked healthy. I'm going, this is the best team in the NFL right now. They are. I mean, anyone sitting there going, the Lions are smoke and mirror, and they still think that there's problems and there's whatever. I mean, you can go there all day, and the Lions are going to keep proving you wrong. And I'm looking for these different places, and I can find holes in this offense. I can find holes in this defense, but you know what? You can't find holes in their heart.
Mm-hmm.
Their grind, their grit, and the fact that they don't understand. They're not trying to understand what it feels like to be average. You know what I mean? They're not trying to figure out what it's like to be almost. This is a team that's trying to set the bar and the standard of what this organization has wanted to be. We've had the players, man. We've had the names. And right now, we're not looking at guys where you're going, this guy is hands down the most dominant person in the NFL that's on that side of the ball. No, we got guys that we go top 5, top 3, top 10, top 20. Yeah, we can do all that, right? But we're talking about just playing the game and playing it at such a disciplined level that we get upset when we know they make a mistake. I don't care if it's even jumping off sides. We're like, dang, I can't believe that guy jumped off side. It's almost like it throws you, because that's how disciplined this team is. That's how good this team is. That is how committed this team is. And then the celebration. They're not side-eyeing. I'm going to tell you, I've seen guys, when one of your teammates score, you even see it nowadays. They score, they give them that eye like, I didn't even get the ball. Oh, everybody, they like, man, everybody coming to the party. Everybody. And they loving it. This is authentic, man. This is genuine. And it's going to be tough, man. All the things that you could typically break down the big championship quality top tier teams with, and getting them to have division in their locker room, getting the coaches to be out there calling out players, getting the organization and refusing to pay players and treating them bad. And they're talking about how bad the organization, they can't wait to leave. I mean, you look at how many of these superstar players on the top of the league keep going. They got to go from this team to this team to this team, but they're like the number one, this guy, they're the best guy over here. They set the NFL record over there, and they still can't be happy. Come on, man. They got it here. They didn't figure it out. So kudos, man. It's just, we could sit here, we could chop it up all day. All I know is this. We could spend a lot more time going, how does a team beat the Lions? Right? Like, that may be a more interesting conversation. You know, what do teams have to do to beat this team?
Well, that's why I want to put this up. Like, just look at this. Like, when you look at this, how do you see this coming together? How do you see this ending in New Orleans? I mean,
wow. I see the Buffalo or Baltimore on the AFC. See the Lions. And for whatever reason, if they don't make it, I mean, the other ones are a toss-up. I mean, that's how different this looks. The Lions look like they should be the team. And the other teams have to figure out how. I mean, yeah, you got to come through Detroit, but how do you take this team out so that we can have a chance of getting there? They got to play excellent football to beat them.
Have to.
The other one's on the other side. It's like, who's playing well that day, right?
Right.
Buffalo. I mean, they got to play pretty well, but we know they're vulnerable. But on the other ones over there, Pittsburgh's got a good. I mean, Mike Tomlin, man, he coaches his team. He gets them to play. Do they have some ups and downs? Yeah, that sometimes comes down to the players. Baltimore, is always going to be, gritty. They're going to always come in, and they have players and playmakers, and they have the taste of the Super Bowl. And that's the only thing I see on the other side is like teams that are used to going to the Super Bowl or having some legacy over there. That's what they're fighting for. The other ones over here are trying to say who's going to be the new North. I mean, not just the North, but the NFC. Like they're staking claims. They're putting flags in the ground on the NFC.
Yeah.
So the Lions ran the table or went all the way to the NFC Championship last year. Are there any of these teams on here that you see being an unexpected, making their way all the way, or going pretty far? All I know is the Chiefs are boring. I don't want to watch the Chiefs anymore.
I want to beat the Chiefs. I really do. More than anybody else. I'm so sick of the Chiefs.
I think we play bully ball over there, though. Hey, King, I think we end up playing bully ball against them right now because I just see us just beating the brakes off of them. I mean, I just would.
Agree.
I've been keeping up with them all year, man. It's like, man, I just hope and pray we meet Kansas City in the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I want to ask Chrissy a question, like, because you asked me about Anzalone. You asked about Anzalone. What player did you see having a big impact that you was kind of unexpected yesterday?
It's kind of boring, but I would say me. That wasn't. I just was watching the coverage on Jefferson and just seeing how frustrated he was pretty awesome. And then I was joking that they should put Penei Sewell in at corner once Terry and Arnold went. I'm like, just throw Penei in there. We're running out of players. I'm curious, Herman, what you saw. What you saw about that matchup with Justin Jefferson. Like, what did you see happening?
All right. So again, completely honest. I don't think he was frustrated with the coverage as much as he was just frustrated with play calling. I think he was frustrated with his quarterback.
Yes.
And I think he was frustrated with the fact that he knew he was going to have opportunity if time was there to win some of those battles. He would have won more of those battles, and he actually won some of those battles. So I'm not going to sit here and just throw him away and just say he got completely shut down. There were times that there was some open passes that were missed. All right, so I look at the game. I always, like I say, I'm looking at it from the standpoint: where do we get better? Where do we clean up? There's still places to clean up. And Coach Campbell, if he was on here right now, he'd agree 100%. It just is. And his frustration was just, a second here, a second there, pass thrown too soon there. Darnold was really becoming so quicksand with his feet to where he wasn't even trying to escape the pocket and then reestablish. It was just like he was just standing in the pocket. He wasn't moving the pocket. If you want to look at quarterbacks and say, quarterbacks that are moving, quarterbacks that roll out, quarterbacks that pivot and escape and still make you chase and tire out your linemen who don't want to pursue because they know that these quarterbacks will run, it's none of that. He was just sitting target. And then I know you could see it in his face, man. He was just more frustrated, I think, more so than the coverage. That's what I saw. As a receiver looking at another receiver, and they just weren't dialing up the right plays. I mean, it's just for Justin Jefferson. I look at him like I look at Jamison Williams. If you're not getting him the ball, you can give him the ball in the short routes to get him into it, to make teams have to come up and play, throw your screens. They didn't do anything to try and, Addison. They weren't even looking over there. I mean, they weren't trying to do anything. So it was like his frustration was making Darnold go get me the ball, and he got locked in. And that's what I saw.
Yeah, I liked seeing Zadarius Smith come back through too, because I know he'd been a little quiet last couple of games.
I think to Herm, to like that coverage, like it's not like Amik didn't have help. Like he was good underneath for the game, but he was getting safety. They were playing cover 2 man. So Addison on one side, Jefferson on the other, and there was a man underneath and a man over the top the whole game for those 2 guys. Mm-hmm. I'm surprised Naylor didn't get involved more coming from the slot, but I think Amik had his fair share. He did win some battles. He did lose some battles, but the pressure up front was just what did they say? Darnold was seeing ghosts because it was just like it was the pressure in his face the whole game. So it was, the saying on defense is like your coverage is only good as your pass rush, and your pass rush is only good as your coverage. So they coincide, and I think that was a good game plan by AG, where that cover 2 man where they were playing over the top and underneath on both of those outside targets receivers was a good plan. And by the time that Darnold was looking to try to give him the ball, that pressure up front was just getting to him. Like the Vikings offensive line is not great. It hasn't been great all season. They've given. I mean, he was sacked. He 46 times. He was the fourth most sacked quarterback in the league. So the Vikings have issues. You know what I'm saying, up front.
That's why I was surprised, defensively, that they didn't try shorter routes or do more combination routes, and they didn't motion with them or any of that stuff. It's like I couldn't understand, and to what they were saying. I know some people were talking about Sam Darnold looking scared. I think they told him not to worry about the pressure, and then the pressure's there all of a sudden. He's like, where the heck this pressure come from? Because everybody's talked about the fact that the Lions weren't getting pressure, right? And it just seemed to throw them. But then if I look at their red zone offense, I mean, I'd love to hear anyone's opinion, even in the comments. I mean, I just felt like there was no plan there. Like, I don't know what was going on with that. It just seemed clunky in the play calling. And I'm surprised they weren't able to just kind of dial that in and just dial it down a little bit and figure it out and simplify it. It was just trying to do a lot, it seemed, on inside the 5-yard line. I don't know. You're going to pass your way in from the 5? I mean, I don't, most teams will, you got a guy like you got in the backfield, you're going to run it in or a little short route or something. I mean, they were doing complicated double move routes, and it's just, I was like, this is unbelievable. Everything happens like this in the red zone. Ball's got to get out. You look at St. Brown, you look at our team, man, they're boom, boom, and they're out. He's going 1-2, and that ball's gone, right? And so, yeah, it was weird.
That kind of, but for me, that kind of tells me that they don't trust the interior offensive line in the red zone like that. If you're setting up the pass and you're inside that 5, the deep red zone like that, and you have to line up the pass, that means you don't trust your offensive line to get the job done up front. That's just me. I mean, like their play calling was, you say they didn't have a plan, but I think it's a lot to go with trust too.
Yeah. listen, Sam Darnold has never played in a game to this magnitude before. That's also a factor. We talking about somebody that was a journeyman before, automatically, all of a sudden popping out to where we are right now. Never played, with everything on the line like that. Jared Goff's been there before. A lot of those guys on the team, they've been there. They got a taste of it last season. Man, the Vikings got some holes. It's nobody scared of Addison. Nobody. You got T.J. Hockenson, fine. But if you can keep Jefferson under control and put pressure on Sam Darnold, man, you can beat the Vikings. It's just that simple. It really is just that simple to me. He won some of those routes. I seen one where a meat fell down. He was wide open. Mm-hmm. Sam Darnold missed him. It's a reason why defensive linemen are the second or third highest paid position in the league. It's a reason why. If you create pressure, you bust the game plan on the offense. That's why you pay edge rushers and D linemen like you do. So us not being used to seeing that from our defensive line, getting pressure like we did yesterday, it's been the first time in a while. It's just like, wow.
Ironically, that was back in my day. That's what we always had was the defensive line. It was the mainstay. And so it was the front, the front four that went back. So I love watching aggressive defensive lines. I think they're fun to watch.
It busts up everything. It busts your whole game plan up. You can get the ball out fast if like I said, for certain teams that may work. But like I said, if you getting that pressure on it, you don't have to get sacks. You get pressure on the quarterback. It changes everything, man. And they just could not figure it out yesterday. It is not easy to play in Ford Field alone with all of that noise. Can't really do all the adjusting like you want to do. So it just made it tough on all fronts to me. And that's what I think happened to the Vikings yesterday.
Come on, 20 piece. Give us your take.
Give me some, man.
Yeah, I want 20 piece. Yeah. So, aggressively we did things right, playing great defense, getting an aggressive style, and going sideline to sideline the way we needed to go sideline to sideline, and we executed pretty well on defense. And that was our main thing, just be aggressive as a defensive team. And we had a game plan going into this game. AG had a game plan, to utilize Anzalone into, certain ways of guarding, the running back and tight ends. And he definitely implemented that pretty well. The crowd was really helping us well. I was at the game where the crowd was just like anxious and getting louder and louder and louder. And it put so much pressure on Darnold, and it put so much pressure on the Vikings to hear what they wanted to do and how they wanted to work in this game. And, we threw their game off, and their game was just way off, and they didn't do as much. But, for the most part, our defense was just great. It was just great. And we had a good time being aggressive, 100%.
Yeah. Herman, what you got going on over there?
Over here?
Yeah.
Man, that's Pinky and the Brain. He's trying to take over the world.
Oh no. It's in all honesty, man. I sit and I love the game of football. I love the sports. I love breaking it down. I love the fact that when I'm going through and I'm looking at where a team or player may be mentally when they're down on the road, big game that's going to determine whether you go and be a number 5 seed or you're going to be the number 1 seed with a bye. And I can feel the emotions while I'm watching the game, and I can feel the anxiety that may kick in when you feel that as a player, you can't call your own play. You can't dial it up the way you want because you have you got to wait for those certain calls to come from the sideline versus when you have a team or a coach that believes, which I've played on both sides, that when you feel the flow of the game. I saw the up tempo by the offense. We haven't seen the Lions come out and they make a big play and all of a sudden they jump right up on the line like, come on, let's go. And they're trying to move. Minnesota tried it a few times, but I saw a hurried up offense. I saw them be a little bit more attacking. You could see that they're playing a little bit loose defensively. You could see that, they were on the same page and everyone seemed to be aligned properly. Yeah, there were penalties. Yeah, there were some things that were being called, but the Vikings were the ones that kept getting their plays in. The minute you start seeing plays coming in that late, everybody's off. Like the play calling's off, the coaches are off. I couldn't stop looking at the daggone clock, and that's why I kept noticing it kept getting to 0 because I'm like, why are they taking so long?
You are triggered over there, Herm. You're like,
because listen,
Hey, Herm, they always say,
listen, the first thing you get, coaches come in, they tell you we're going into a hostile environment. We will practice the whole week not even being able to talk to each other because everything is signal, everything is visual, it is communication, it's nonverbal communication. And I'm sitting here watching them trying to yell at this guy and talk to this guy. The guy beside you can't even hear you. If you guys haven't figured that out right now, then I knew they were already discombobulated and in trouble at that point. And then all of a sudden, when you got your quarterback that's rattled, he's looking like trying to read stuff on his band like this, and he's yelling and screaming, and he's probably mispronouncing words and everything. I'm like, man, they don't know what's going on. And then when they showed Darnold, he's like, he just looked perplexed, like, I'm like, know what? No, it is. It's like when you go down the street and all of a sudden you're just walking and somebody just come out and just slap you, pow, and you just like, oh, you don't even know what happened. Like he didn't know. He didn't know shit. And then, but you know what? But look. But if you slap the lion like that, they're gonna bring everybody. The gang, they bringing everybody, and everybody jump in. Like Minnesota might be like, hey man, look, like their players like, hey, did he just slap you? Or no, man, everybody needs to be a part of what's happening. Man. It was crazy. It was like he would have got slapped and just been like, why'd that guy slap me? No, man, you gotta spring to action.
That's what I love about this. I love about this team and Coach Campbell. It's like it's this case study and just this mental approach to the game. It's like because everybody is the team, it's almost like it takes off pressure too. It's like nobody's the marquee guy. Everybody, it's next man up is like the real anthem of this team. And you can feel it.
Now I have a question for her. I have a question for you, Chrissy, because I always like to see that. I always like to know the kind of the behind the scenes. And you're not behind the scenes now, but you were behind the scenes before. What do you think is the biggest difference between how Sheila Hamp is handling the organization as far as from what it was when you worked for the Lions?
Not as much comparing, but just looking at the result and looking at the rapport, you can tell that there's a great deal of respect across the board. And I think that one of the biggest things, and I mentioned this, Herman and I talked about this, I think way back when Coach Campbell was hired, it's all about, do you trust your coach? And then the coach has to be skilled at what they're doing, but do you trust the coach and are you going to see them through? And I love how they kept replaying that clip of her talking the first season, and she's like, they told me not to come out and talk, but I'm talking anyway. And she said, I believe in Coach Campbell and we're staying with Coach Campbell. To me, there's a clear faith factor here and there's a mutual respect. And when you get everybody on the same page and everybody doing that, you can tell when it's healthy. So, that's just, I won't even, and I don't know, Herman can speak to this too, but it's like, you can almost tell when an organization isn't healthy, even if you're not there. You can watch stuff that's happening on the field or the court and you're like, all right, something's going on there, even though we don't know what it is. And it's the opposite here. Like everybody's clearly on the same page.
Let me say this, because you're absolutely right. You watch, I say this all the time, I watch a lot of football. After games, if you pay close attention, everybody in the organization is hugging, cheering, jumping, just from Sheila to Brad Holmes, hugging people, almost squeezing the life out of them. Everybody from top to the very bottom is on the same page. They're all for each other. They're family, man. When you have a team like that, it is very, very hard to beat a team and organizations that's put together that well. Everybody does their job, but at the same time, everybody cares for each other on that team. That is
dangerous. Has to be skilled. I mean, and that's the thing. It's like, because we can be like, oh, yay, this is fun. But if you don't know how to coach, or you're not good with fundamentals, you're not good with scheme, it's all fitting. And it's just all falling together. There's no weak component. And like I said, his authenticity is infectious. He clearly is very assured in who he is as a person and as a coach. And
Mhm.
that will speak to just humans. So, I mean, it's clearly speaking to the team and the players. Herman, I don't know what you got there because you obviously probably have
Yeah,
a
because I wanted to see what Herman like compared to this team and the camaraderie and like the family, the close knit type of family this team is. How does it compare to the team that you played on with the Lions?
So this is an interesting take. So you have the same ownership family, right? So you just have a different mentality in terms of how it's being assembled. And people have to understand players have been developed over a period of time as well, just like the NFL. Just like you see Dan Campbell is now, because of what he's done, he's going to change the way you look at hiring a coach. He's gonna do that now. It's no longer about the coaching tree. It's about the people who can really get the players to respect them, because players don't respect the coach. They can respect the fact that you've gone and you have Super Bowls and you've done all these things. They're going to respect the coaches that have played the game. They're going to respect the coaches that are willing to come in and set aside their ego and truly be there to help them become better people in their criticism, more so than just beating them down because they coach with someone over here or whatever. And that's supposed to give them equal playing field and everything. But ownership back then was the same family. The difference was that there was an individualization taking place. It was raising up certain players above, and you've seen it all the way up, even until not so far years ago. It's there's always got to be a hierarchy of players, and it was the organization will do it because of the marketing prowess and because of what they need certain people to be. You don't realize how much you are creating the environment of separation because of even just how you operate in the public space, in the visible side, by basically when you say these are the players and the reason why we are winning is because of that person versus because of us. Dan has brought the us back to team. He's brought the pieces back to where, it's all about, we will do our jobs, y'all do y'all job. We'll give you something to build around to make sure that you can have good marketing and good branding and good social and good engagement. But the only way that's going to happen is we got to be solid down here. Before it was all about dollars and cents. It was a business that wasn't really a business. It was about, here's a commodity. This is our best line of cars, but you don't want those other ones because they're not the same type, right? Now it's like, no, I don't care which one you get. It's going to get you to point A to point B. 2, it's going to have all the bells and whistles and the efficiencies of our highest model and make. It's going to have the same durability. It's going to have it's product and brand consistency through and through, all the way through the fabric of that organization. That has not existed. That hasn't been there. That's a hard thing for even the Ford family to hear. And I'll say it. It is not this. It is a different team. It's a different team because the owners are different too. It's a different team because the coaches that you have coaching the players are different, because the people you have running it upstairs are doing it a little bit differently than what you've done in the past. You've made all the necessary changes that kept us from being a championship caliber team. So, I can hear us. We can raise up all the people we want, but it starts with the foundation. And the foundation started with, it wasn't being built right. It was being built with players.
And I'll say this.
But not everything put together. And you know what? Let me just say this last thing, Chris.
Go ahead.
And also the ownership is the ego. It's not that Mr. Ford. I love Mr. Ford Sr., man. He was a great guy to work with and talk to. Junior barely got to meet him and know him, even though he was over and he's supposed to be in the office. Barely saw him. But even then, man, it's run in its own differently. I think the father's passion and the grandfather's passion, all that was there. But man, now it is truly hands-on, right people. It's not about the family, it's about the whole. And the family is a benefit because they're the ones who are assembling this team, but they're giving the people the power they're supposed to have it to do the right thing. And that's what I see. When I get envious, man, I don't get envious of a player. You don't get envious of statistics. You know what I get envious of, man? Why in the hell can I have years of not having to worry about how many passes I caught, but just the quality of my work? Not worrying about my contract, not worrying about whether or not I can, it's going to be more this player or that player. No, it's a us, it's a we. It's a totality, man. So that's what I'm looking at, and I'm glad to see that it's come full circle. I'm glad to see that this has come around, and there's an appreciation from the top to the bottom to the people that are just hitting the buttons on the elevator at Ford Field to say, welcome to Ford Field. And they love it. The people love working there, saying they work at Ford Field for the Lions.
Yep.
Now you got a brand. So that's what I see, man. It's great. I hope it continues. I hope it sustains. You know, you're going to get pieces that come and go. And when they do, how do you keep those pieces in place? And if you do, how do you replace it? That's what it becomes. So ride this wave while you can. It's beautiful.
Thanks. I was that's what I was looking for. Yeah, I was like, for me, I think the biggest thing that I saw, that was one of the things I saw that was different when Sheila took over the team and when she really got involved, when she moved her office into Allen Park and not at Ford Field. And I was like, okay, she's going to take a hands-on approach, but it's not like she's going to be overbearing. She's going to oversee what's going on with the team with Chris Spillman, and she's going to organize it differently and going to run it differently than her predecessors. And I love the way Sheila's doing her thing as the owner. She had to fight to get in the NFL. She couldn't even get hired to be a copy person back in the day. She couldn't even get coffee in the league because she was just a woman. But I love what she's doing for this team and what she's doing for the organization. Go ahead, you were saying something else, Chrissy, but I just wanted to say that about what's going on with Miss Hamp.
No, I love it. I was just going to comment that Venom here is right on as far as trusting the process and allowing time and just expressing the support, because I think historically there's been some of reactions to fan reactions and trying to give the fans and appease the fans and kind of being scared of unrest and fans getting upset. And instead, there was an assurance coming from the organization across the board. And it started with Dan Campbell, to be honest. You know, he's going to say what he says, and he's going to do what he does. And everybody followed suit. But I think having that faith and that, you know, just sticking with it, I think is important. Herman, you know, our comments really aged well, you know, because I think we said that early on. And then I know you always talked about building it right and about making sure that, you know, when we were going through that initial season that was very difficult to go through, you talked about how it's just important to not try to spackle on and bring on names and marquee players, but really to build from the ground up. And we're actually, you know, seeing the fruits of that.
Those dynasty teams are gone in terms of you have all these big marquee names and all these high paid players that are underachieving, and you get, you know, you may find a good winner out of all the money you spend on a lot of high paid free agents and all this other stuff. But when you build it right and you put the time on developing the talent, and then I saw in the comments earlier where they said, you know, Dan Campbell said all of our backups could be starters. And when you're building your team to be that, you're building it to be resilient. That's why he says with such great confidence, next person up. And he doesn't care. And I even said that on the show. Everyone came in, oh, I don't know what's going to happen. You're in a panic because the guys are hurt and people are not going to be. I said, no. It's the attitude of whether or not the talent that you're developing is prepared. Dan Campbell, if they've proven anything, they prepare their players. They prepare the bench or the backup or the next person up. They prepare. So that's where their confidence is beaming from, whereas the other teams now are trying to patchwork it. Oh, we better get our players ready. No, you've already damaged them. You've already damaged the mentality. You've already set the culture. You've already set the example that, you know, they didn't have to work as hard. And now you're going to all of a sudden say, we need you to step up. No, you're going to get attitude. You're going to get inconsistency. That's what you're going to get. But you know what Coach Campbell never going to get? All right, well, we'll see you when you get back healthy. But until that happens, you come on in here and hold it down for your brother, right?
Yep.
That's all it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it was Chris Collinsworth too. When they talk about what we received for Stafford, that's insane. Like when they talk about the draft picks and what was actually received, it's that I mean, it just shows, like, you know, initially it's like, okay, that's cool. You know, you remember the draft, you remember being there and just, you know, promised. And now you look at the fruition.
But then Brad Holmes, man, like I said, this whole time we've been sitting here talking, just thinking about Brad Holmes, man, because we talk about that depth, obviously, because of him. You know what I'm saying? Who the heck knew who Muhammad was? You know what I'm saying? When he gets a sack, it's like, who is this dude, Muhammad? Where did he come from? You know what I'm saying? Meek Robertson, where did you get him from? I never heard him before. So it's just like Brad Holmes. Obviously, everybody's not going to be able to stay around forever, but we have enough faith in him to draft the next guy, who fits the culture here in Detroit, that will be raised up organically to keep this thing going for a long time. So that's the biggest thing I admire about him the most. And then when you go in and get a head coach, why not go and get a head coach that's experienced what happened here in Detroit, that went 0-16? You know what I'm saying? That know that the city's tired of everything, know what we've been through. So, like I said, just bringing people around that not only understand football, but understand where they are, what team this is. It's the Lions, man. This is not, I mean, to turn this team over is incredibly difficult. And they did it. And it's getting even better. You know, we got a chance and a shot to go to the Super Bowl. Man, I tell people all the time, think about next season. You have another shot, man, because look at that roster. Look at the way Brad Holmes got everything set up. You still got a chance to go into the draft. You got a chance to go and add more players. You got all of these guys coming back. They're not going to have freak accident injuries to the level that we had this year. He has it done right. So, like I said, everything is just, I just get it. I just get happy. It just makes me want to go frolic.
Yeah, frolicking. And when you talk about Brad Holmes like that too, it's like that shows too the connection between the coaching staff, the scouts, and the GM, because everybody has to be on the same page for that. So it means everybody's working together and there's no egos and they're actually getting that done.
I do got a question for Herm though.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
This one is something that I've just been sitting here thinking about. I'm starting to see more and more of the reports. Do you think there's a chance that we can retain either one of our coordinators next season?
I would say you're gonna lose one, and here's the only reason why I really feel that they are going to have to forego an opportunity, and these are the lottery tickets, right? That come with going from coordinator or going from a coach to a head coach. They're gonna be given the opportunity to run their own teams, meaning it's the next progression, it's the next step up. There's not a selfishness that takes place if they pursue that, because ultimately they want to be a part of not just winning championships, but they also want to win in their careers. It's no way around it. It's the apex and the pinnacle of the coaching tree is to become a head coach. If they were to say, I'm going to forego that and I want to stay here, I think they would do that and make that decision with the understanding that window may close and it may not come later. And I don't see that not happening, but I just don't think Coach Campbell pushed them hard enough to stay, because he understands what that means to them ultimately having a full self in their career. That's like telling a player, I want you to be a part of my team. You have the ability to win championships and do all those things, but you're not going to be able to kill that feeling of them wanting to have some of their own personal accomplishments and goals and accolades. So I would say this, man, it's like if they can keep them and retain for another year or two, that would be absolutely fantastic. I think they're going to be hit so hard and with so many opportunities. If they do stay, we know that's like the ultimate level of commitment, because they're truly going team above all things. And I don't think we should put them in a position where they're bad people if they go, I'm taking a coaching job, right? I mean, it all comes part of that's their reward sometimes. So I don't know, man. I hope they stay, but I think Ben may be your first one to leave, though.
Two-part question. Second part of the question: if you're the coordinator, if you're in one of those guys' position, do you leave? Do you say, I'm going to take this coaching opportunity and go over to this bum team and try to build it up, or I'm going to take the opportunity now and try to win a ring now, or be a part of a dynasty right now, because you're still going to get that opportunity. Your team is good, and you're going to be good for a couple of years. You're still going to get that opportunity in a couple of years to go and coach somewhere. They're still going to be after you. Do you take it now?
I disagree.
You think so? Okay.
Here's why I disagree. It'll still be there. It's
okay.
The Lions. I think there's envy that has happened inside of. I think most people would only want to take it to dismantle the team and to bring that over, both from a marketing standpoint, but also an improvement of whatever position that they're getting any of those two coaches for. But I don't think that it's truly believed throughout the NFL that the Lions are so unbeatable, like we believe, like the where we are. And because of that, I think they're wanted for the teams that really need that lift, and then the ones that feel like they could and should beat the Lions. I think there's loyalty that happens within these teams as well, where the organizations, we've seen it. You look how many times the Lions, again, same ownership, stayed with certain coaches, went after certain ones, regardless of looking outside the box, because it was whether it's fear, whether it's pressure, I don't know, to have certain names. I think that if it were me, I'm staying for at least another year to 2 years, probably 2 years, because I can see the development. I know the players that they have right now just really tapping into that rhythm. So give me another couple more years. I think, to your point, it gives me the ability to say that position opportunity will still be there, because coaches get fired all the time, right? But
and I would hope there's some discretion of the team you're going to.
Yeah, and there's a lot.
They would sit there and say, like, am I a good fit for these teams that they're being interviewed by?
And that's the thing I was going to tell you. I think that one of the most compelling pieces would be, you just want to hope it's not a team that they know they would love to have the opportunity, because all the pieces are in place for them, that they can go to. And I always talked about a guy like Tom Moore, who took his offensive. He's like the Ben Johnson of the people they're talking about now. But Tom Moore, it didn't matter the system he played in. It didn't matter. As an offensive coordinator, he had his recipe, and you could not stop it. He took it, and everywhere he went, they had success with that offense. And he's going to be Hall of Fame. I mean, he's just a phenomenal OC, right? An assistant head coach. So I think it's going to be tough, man. But, I'm an older guy, man. Show me the money. Show me the money, man.
Yeah.
They paying these players. I might be a little bit harder to negotiate with, man. You talking about would I stay? The Lions have to keep me, man. They got to be paying me like the commissioner.
Hey,
I need my
ain't no cap on it. If the Lions serious about winning, they better kick out that money.
Yeah.
Because you don't want them to go. You don't want Ben Johnson to go to the Bears.
I've seen some really good coordinators, man, go places and just really fall flat. It's like players, man. Some of the schemes are.
It's different between being a coordinator and running a team. That's a whole different animal.
Yeah.
Being the head guy. But like, I wanted to, what you said about the Lions being a brand and how they're approaching the players now. Like, one thing I see and I'm wearing it right now is that the Lions are one of the only teams that you see offensive lineman jerseys like in the stands. Like, you don't see that on most teams. Like, and when the new jerseys came out, and I asked my daughter for one for Father's Day, I automatically said I wanted a Penny suit. That's the first new jersey I got.
Because he's a current player. He's a Pro Bowl. He's a starter.
But you see Frank Ragnow.
You can't go get Lomas Brown jersey?
Hey, you get it to me, I rock it. If I can find one.
I mean, that's my point. So
yeah,
that's all I'm saying. You know where I'm saying. You know where I'm saying. You know where I'm going. But that's marketing. That's branding. That's the name.
But you see Frank Ragnow's out there. You see Frank Ragnow. You see some Deckers out there. You see more offensive lineman jerseys in the stands for the Lions, and you see a lot of teams, because it's a team. They like. It's about the team. Like, you have a superstar like Kirby Joseph, like, begging for his jersey to get restocked. You know what I'm saying? Because they, you watch his Beyond. It was that Under the Helmet. Like, he didn't even have a jersey out. They were wearing like bootleg jerseys. His family, because they didn't have his jersey in the shop yet. I'm like, get Kirby Joseph in the doggone thing, man. You got to do that. That's the superstar, man. But,
hey, man.
but I love the direction of the Lions.
Yeah, I love that direction too. But I'm gonna say to make me feel whole for the last piece I love to see happen with this team is to really figure out how to get the men who played for this team that did not have the ability to enjoy what is happening now, but put their heart and soul and left that out on the field. How do you also make them included and make it an inclusive club to bring people in? So there's going to be a void in my heart still with some of them, and people don't have to agree with it, don't have to get in with it. You could be all about it's all about now. It's not about things in the past, but the past makes it whole, because you got to and take the ones that you really needed to do right by, the ones you really needed to make sure were appreciated for their attempt to this level, that never got to enjoy it at this level, but played there and put everything on the line for it. Bring them back in the fold. Make them feel a part of it as well, just as you try to bring back the fans by giving them incentive packages, and you come up with all these crazy marketing plans and all this stuff to try and figure out how do you make the fans want to buy those seats again and be a part of it and feel a part for the fact that they've supported through all those generations.
Yeah.
What about the players? What about some of your players, man? And I say that because I know it's just not done, and it's not a criticism, but it's like, if you're going for excellence and you're going for it all, close the door, close the back door up, man. Make it through and through thick. Because if you look at a lot of the teams now, they still talk about how their alums are treated. When teams do well, they forget about the other ones. They forget about those others, other than a handful that they may pick up and want to make those our shining stars. This is make it a team through and through. Make it a Lions nation, a pride, a kingdom. Make it through and through to where people can't pull back your layers and be like, well, what about this?
Mm-hmm.
That's just as important.
Yep.
Just as important.
Yep.
For sure. And hey, speaking of kingdoms, look at us. So we got our new stuff. What do you think of this, Herm?
I like it. I don't think I missed one on this one. I got to get the new one, man. That has the division champion.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on.
I love the back. The back was nice, man. That was a great job you guys did with that.
Thank you.
These shirts are fire, man. You guys got to get these. You got to get that commemorative piece, man. You got to pick up your gear. I rock it all the time, man. I know they get tired of seeing me walk around to the store and everywhere, and every time I go in there, yeah, I got my stuff. I'll be rocking it.
Yeah, we got Herman wearing a uniform now. He basically wears all his Lions Nation Unite gear.
That's it.
Yeah, I got LNU Live.
Socks too.
LNU Live for code. Everybody get out there. It's just for this stream, so 10% off entire order. Go get it.
Yeah, that shirt's dope.
It's a masterpiece.
Thank you. Hey, what's up, Chicken Nugget King? How you doing?
Hey, I'm hanging in there. I'm doing good. But yeah, in more ways than one, as usual. I see it the way that Brad Holmes is doing what Jack McCloskey did. It's off topic of Lions, but I could put it in this way of how he did with the Bad Boy Pistons, is that he tore down the roster and made it into like, okay, we're going to build an expansion team, which is we're going to go and draft players that embody the city, that have that bad boy like mentality, and instill it into the guys that you can name from front to back and see what they could do as skill wise and talent wise. And it's working out to its fullest potential, because there was times where you could see on podcasts where some guys just saying, oh, well, I never wanted to be here. But you could tell the coach and the program itself was telling them, hey, just trust the process. Everything will be just fine. And the process is going just great. And it's doing good for the players. It's doing good for the fans. It's doing good for all of us. And we're instilling that grit into the next foreseeable years. You know what I'm saying? So I really love it. I love what we're doing. And it's all about building a culture from the top and then bringing it to the bottom, which is the field. So you got to keep on working it.
Love it. And everybody, so I see some questions for Herman in the chat. I'm actually going to I'll pull some of these and let Herman address them on social later on. Cause we we got a couple weeks till we play.
Yeah.
You know, so we got time.
We got time.
Hopefully everybody's getting healthy and spending some time taking some rest. And what games you guys looking forward to seeing this weekend? Let's end on that. Any games you guys are looking forward to seeing? Because obviously our team's on the couch.
Obviously, was the Eagles Green Bay?
Yeah.
Rams, Vikings.
Yeah.
Rams,
Eagles,
Who do you
Green
want to see lose?
Who? I would love to see the Eagles lose. That would be hilarious to me. If the Eagles lost, I would lose it.
Would you frolic?
I'm not gonna frolic.
Okay.
But I would give a lot of shouting to run around the living room.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I have Eagles fans coming up to me here in North Carolina. It's like, I don't want to play you guys. Like I ran into a guy in Walmart like a couple of times. Like, yeah, we don't want to play you guys. He was like, I don't see it, and he said that as good as they say their defense is, that secondary has issues.
The defense is a little inconsistent too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta, piggy bank off the guys. Definitely, I would like to see the Eagles go down. But anyways, I would like to see them go down and lose, and it would be nice to see. But the playoffs are a whole different animal. It's a whole different atmosphere, and you never know what you're gonna get, especially when you're being a 2 seed or a 7 seed. But other than that, let the playoffs begin. We're sitting back. We're going to enjoy it. No frolicking.
It's going to be a madhouse here. Just think about it, because we got home games. I think every level of the playoffs is going to be a little bit harder for each team to play us, because it's going to be a madhouse here. Like I said, we had to go to San Francisco last year. That's not this year. The NFC, No, I say if we go to the NFC Championship game this year, it's going to be people hanging on the roof.
That's a solid one.
What? I'm telling you, man, like to have it in Ford Field, Detroit, Michigan, live, that would be so hyped to have the whole city there and going crazy and just losing it, man. That would just be the top of all tops. And we
win that.
Again?
No, I was just gonna say, we win that game, it's gonna be more than frolicking. It might get a little bit weird, man.
Oh yeah, it'll be too much, but just to say it, just to see it the way we're gonna see it and the way it's gonna be like that in real time, it's just gonna be crazy, man.
Don't giggling over there. Just you're making me think of the Final Four when the Final Four was at Ford Field and in Michigan State got to the finals.
Yeah.
And we were walking back to the parking structure. And there's like Michigan State fans legitimately out cold just around the city. I'm like,
yeah. I mean, that energy is going to be loud, like livid, So to go to the NFC Championship game and have it here is just like no other. It's no other way to do it. To have it right here in front of a diehard football city, in front of diehard football fans like the Lions fans. There's no other fan base like us. And we're gonna definitely give us a show. We're gonna give these people a show. Matter of fact, we're gonna give the whole world a show, and we're gonna show them what we're made of. We're grit, and you're gonna be a gritty person too. You're gonna be along with it as well.
And save the date, because we're gonna have some watch parties for Lions games at our Imagine Theater.
Oh yeah.
So make sure you save the date, or you can go to Lions Nation Unite, opt in for emails, because we're gonna be pushing that out. But Herman will be doing some meeting and greeting.
Oh, we're just having fun. I just want people to come and just hang out and just have a good time. I want us to continue to grow this platform, the community. I want to continue to support our contributors and those that are just pushing out really good content for the fans and in support of the team. Just continue to build the nation, and let's take ownership of that and continue to innovate within our own platforms, realizing the power that we have as fans and as we have as former players to communicate and connect at a level that we never had before. I've enjoyed this, and I will say this: the two teams that I'll end on this that I would like to see win 2 games. Really, I'd like to see the Commanders win. I'd like to see the Eagles win, only because I want the Lions to, if possible, because I think they would end up getting one of those. We'll get a low seed with I think maybe the Commanders may have an opportunity to come in, depending on how that shapes out. I want them going through the NFC. I want them to just whip everybody. I just want anybody they haven't beat yet to have an opportunity for them to beat up. Now, Tampa, only because if Tampa could come back, just don't want them just yet. But if they did, we just want to lay back a little bit of revenge on them for the loss from earlier in the season. But outside of that, that's all I want. I just want them to go out and just beat them down. Just beat down.
I don't want any more NFC North teams. It's not for any fear factor. We got enough. I
don't want to see the Rams anymore. I mean, it's all good. That one's gotten kind of old already, so no more of that. So yeah, let's get it done. But again, just appreciate Chris. You've done a great job in getting everyone connected, continuing to build a platform. 20 piece and some fries. I appreciate you joining.
Hey, I love it.
King Kurt.
I love it.
What up?
Yeah, it's what's up, man. No, this is what it's all about. Appreciate your knowledge, your insight, your love, your passion for the team, the sport, and for the nation, man. And for all of you that took the time out, man, to kick it with us for 90 minutes and taking that time out of your day, it's my honor to say thank you and to say we welcome you back. Next time we're going to be on here, make sure you're smashing that button. Make sure you're telling everyone about what we're doing over here. Go get your merch. And we're always open to ideas for new merch or new designs. If any of you have design skills or know people that are designers, hit us up. We'd love to feature that on or work out a deal, put you in our stores, and get you connected. So let's do it. And share with us also when you guys get a chance on some of the foundational stuff you're doing in your community. Any of you that have charities that we should look in, feel free when we're in our chat sometimes here to throw that out there just so we can take note of that and maybe follow up and see how we can also support there. So it's more than just us talking sports. It's about us really being a part of one and all. So and anyone who knows us, that's our brand ethos here. That's mine. And we mean that sincerely.
For sure. And hilarity that Green Bay sucks is still our #1 seller. Granted, there's a lot of different Sonic and Knuckles, so people buy a lot of them. But if you go to all products and it ranks them by best selling, Green Bay sucks. Continues to be #1.
Green Bay sucks.
Hey, I was going to say this last thing. So here's one last one, and I got to figure out how I was going to make this shirt. We got all these attorneys, and you got Mike, you got the Bernstein advantage, you got the guy that's sitting there talking about I just got paid. You can get paid. Oh, exactly. I got it called Top Dog Law.
Top Dog Law.
Right. So all I'm saying is that we should come up with something like when teams come in and say, you know what, we know some personal injury workers' comp attorneys you can call while you're in Michigan, while you're playing the Lions, because you're gonna need it. You're gonna need it because you're gonna need an attorney because you're gonna need to go file a claim because you're gonna get hurt coming up here playing around in Ford Field. You're gonna be hurt playing against the Lions. And I'm telling you, them boys are gonna go out there, and I'm pretty sure you're gonna be in a car crash. You're gonna be in a wreck. They're gonna wreck you out there on the field. So you might as well come in, and this is a no-fault state. So you came here, you flew your plane here, you drove your bus over to the stadium, and you put your players in danger, and you put them in harm's way. So there you go. Go Lions.
If anyone is interested, if anyone is interested in seeing Herman Moore do an attorney spoof commercial, put it in the chat. We can make that happen.
Come on, I'll do it.
That'd be brilliant.
Oh yeah, Herman wanted to be an actor.
Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, there it is.
And he owns it. All right, Frolicker.
Yeah.
Go ahead, send us off.
All right, so I just want to say thank you guys for having us all on the platform tonight. Lions Nation Unite has been a great experience for us content creators, man, to work with genuine people like Herman, Chrissy. For everybody that's in the chat, thank you guys for stopping in and chatting with us, man. You guys have been very, very active in the comments. That's the way we like it. Make sure you leave your questions so we can get back to those. We have a bye week. Everyone, let's enjoy it. Let's talk crap. Let's do everything we want to do during this period, man, and just enjoy it. But I just hope everyone out there has a blessed and joyous night. Enjoy this time off of the Detroit Lions. Talk your smack at work, man. And I can't say it enough. Enjoy it. But once we get back rolling, man, let's make sure we support our team. I mean, wholeheartedly. Let's get down to that Ford Field, man, and just tear things up. We're the Kings of the North. You see it on Herm's shirt. Make sure you guys go over to the website and get yourselves some gear over there. Use that LNU Live for you guys that's in this live to get that discount. And with that said, everyone have a great night.
Love
Appreciate
it.